Hey. I really want you to watch me do this drawing in graphite. It's a little barn that's just down the road from my house. I want you to see all of the different steps that I take to get this finished product. If you're currently a subscriber, I thank you very much. And if you're not currently a subscriber, go subscribe to my channel and then come right back out and see how it is I do this. Thanks a lot. Let's get at it. Okay, so I'm sitting on the side of the road here, and today we're at one of the favorite places that I like to draw and paint, which is this little barn, and I'm doing a series of this. So today we're going to do this in graphite or pencil, whichever one it is that you choose to call it. And you'll know that pencils come in different numbers on them. All right, so I thought I would explain that first to start off with. So you have H's, and in this set I just have H, 2H, 4H, and over here I have 2B, 4B, 6B, and just HB. HB would just be a regular pencil that we have all the time that we use. And then there's 2B, 4B, 6B, H, 2H, 4H. That's all that comes in this particular set. So H means hard and B means black. It's no more difficult than that. The harder the pencil, the lighter the line. The softer the pencil, the blacker the line. Okay? So a 6B is significantly more black than an HB. And a 4H is significantly harder than just a regular H. So this will have a very, very light line, and this will have a very, very dark line. Don't make it any more difficult than that. And then what I do is I have in my little tin, I just have them set up so that the H's are on one side and the B's are on the other side. Okay? I also have in here just a pencil sharpener. This is just an elastic that I use to close the container up with. So let's get at this, and I'm not going to use any of the black ones to do my preliminary drawing. I'm going to use my, yes, you guessed it, the hardest one, which will leave the lightest line. Okay, so I'm going to attach, I'm going to just do a simple little thumbnail sketch here to start off with. So we'll go back and have a look at the barn again. And you'll see that there's a telephone pole. I'm going to put that telephone pole on my right hand 1/3 line. And you'll see that the barn is on the bottom left third. Okay? So if we do a thumbnail sketch of this, and I'm going to do that right here on the side of my page. And I'm going to split this thumbnail into thirds. And I'm going to say that my telephone pole is going to be on this third. On my other third line, I'm going to make the one side of the barn. Okay? I'm going to make the back side of the barn be something like that. And if we think about the rules of perspective, we know that this has to be shorter than this. Okay? Don't make it any more difficult than that. That's it. That's as difficult as you need to make it. We also see that there's a roof that slants out that is something like this. It doesn't come all the way over to that telephone pole. This pole I'm going to have to move over slightly right. There's some openings in the bottom of the barn here. I guess it's right here. There's a door here, and there's another large opening at the back down here. And I have to put my sunglasses on because the glare coming off this white page is burning my eyes. Let's get at it then. So on this 1/3 line right here, I want to put this telephone pole, and I'm going to put it in very, very lightly. think I've made my barn a little too long on the back here. I think that's much better. So for me, the barn didn't the barn doesn't come quite that far forward, so I'm going to do that. And remember, this is a barn, so it's not perfect. Okay, it's a barn. It's, you know, it's a house for animals, so it's nowhere near as perfect as say your house might be. So I'm going to make this actually come up a little bit more there. So that's for me, that's a pretty good start for the barn. I know that there's a telephone pole that comes down the 1/3 line. I'm going to shift that slightly right now, but also there's a road here, so the road actually comes up to about the 1/3 line, and it's slightly right of the slightly right of this vertical 1/3 line. Okay, so we're going to shift the road even slightly further right, and it's going to come down like this and right down almost directly towards us. Okay, take that road out of there, and I'm going to put the telephone pole down sort of right here. Just like that. And then there's another telephone pole further down the road here, and it's significantly smaller. And if you actually measure it, it's only about 1/3 the height of this. So if I take this and I put this on here, can I get 3, 2, 3? So I actually measured this to see how high this thing was in comparison to this. I just held my arm out and I just did a quick little measurement of it. There's also right behind this, in this same line going back here, I'm going to make this road actually a little bit thinner back there. Maybe something like that. Okay, so there's a fence line that goes from here. It actually starts right here, all just right of the 1/3 line. And there's fence here, and it goes back in this. Behind this barn, there's a piece of level ground that comes out like this towards here, and then this is a ditch, and we should try to signify this ditch with just some lines. Okay, and then this line is going to come across here and meet across the road, and then of course you have the tree line that is further back, and we're just going to put that in now, something like that. And so let's move on from this. So I'm going to take this is still my 4H pencil, and I'm going to put in some of the details very lightly here, like the big barn door that's down there. There's a little okay, so this is pretty good. So let's think about some of the things that we're going to do on here. So I'm going to put this this for me is correct, so I'm going to put this in fairly lines in. We're going to go through here, and we're just going to press a little bit harder to put the lines in a little bit more solid way. That's called line weight. So you see, I'm still using a 4H pencil, but this line is significantly darker than the line beside it. That's line weight. So when I was doing it to put the things on the page initially, I was using a 4H pencil, my lightest pencil, but I wasn't pressing very hard. That's line weight, all right? So there's also, you know, line quality, line weight, but this right here that I'm talking about is how much pressure I'm putting on the pencil to get the line on the page. So along here we have these okay, so the bottom down here is all concrete. We don't have to worry about that right now. That's different than the barn board, okay? And this right here is all metal. It's like a tin that's on here. My question to you is, how can I make my viewer believe that this is different than this? One of the things that I would say that we could do is we could make it much wider lines like this. So we could take these and make it into much wider lines. Now, is it still possible that my viewer reads that as board? It is. Does it change the fact that this is a barn? I would say it doesn't. Whether they read this as bigger barn boards or tin really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. The fact is that they are still going to read this as barn, and that's what I'm going for here, okay? You'll see that partway down this green addition, there's some rust that's on there. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just from the line, pull out away, little hatching all the way down. And then this whole thing, I'm going to actually take a pencil that's a little bit softer, like a 2B. So this is a 2B, and I'm going to go across this. You'll see how much softer this. Okay, this comes down into this ditch like that. Okay, that's not too bad. And there's a lot of grass in here, so we're going to do that all last, of course. So one of the things I want to do right now is I want to put in this sort of with this same, not with the 2B, but with the 4B. I'm going to put in some of this tree line. That's probably all I'm going to do for those trees right now. I'm going to come back down here and I'm going to put in a little bit more of this field right here that's going across this way. Like that. Okay. So, well, we got our, I'm going to do this field over here. Okay, that's coming right along. Grab your coffee, have a drink of coffee. All right, let's go back and revisit these. So this is very black on the inside of this. So I'm going to, this one down here is a door, but I'm going to make it into an opening that animals would walk in and out of. You can make yours into a door if you want. I'm going to cross hatch this. I'm going to start on the top line, and I'm going to very controlled pull my hatching from the top line down as far as I think it should go. And then I'm going to so if you want it to read darker, you want to eliminate all those little white spots in there. So any little white spots inside of that, you want to eliminate them. There's also some frame around some of these windows, so that's probably dark enough for me. This one here has got to be, you can see just by adding the 6B. This is what it was in 4B plus 6B, this is just 4B. So you can see there's a significant difference between those two. Okay, and I would say I was using about the same amount of line weight. I'm going to go back over this, and you're going to see that this is going to make this significantly darker. Again, I'm going to eliminate all those white spaces on there, but you'll see just by doing that much how this 6B is significantly darker than the 4B. Just like that. So we're adding a lot of variation in our darkness to this, and this is coming right along. So one of the things that I wanted to do was this is gravel, so I wanted to do some stippling along here to denote that this is sort of a pebbly surface along here. My barn's coming right along here. This is all shadow. It's all evenly shadowed from here to here. Okay. This is turning out not too bad. Actually, this is turning, you know, I think you'll find I say that a lot. This is turning out not too bad. It's because this is not the first time I've drawn this barn. This is, you know, probably, you know, many times that I've drawn this barn. And that's because it's not very far from my house, and it's because it's something that I like to look at. It's something that's very, very close to me, something that I see every day. So one of the highlights of this particular little drawing that we have here is the fence and the telephone poles and the telephone lines. Oops. All right. Okay, so I'm actually going to put in the telephone poles now. Something like that. I also think I'm going to take this number 4 pencil while I'm here, and I'm going to put in a little bit more of this sort of highlighted area of these trees, maybe slightly darker than before. And then down here, maybe a little bit more in this little lighter tree line, bush line. And then, yeah, I'm kind of really pleased with the way this ditch has turned out in here. There's a couple of smudges here, but I can live with that. I'm kind of pleased with the way this has turned out over here. I guess the last major thing that we need to put in here is these telephone lines, and they come from the top. So I want you to think about this. They're in line and in line, and wherever you start the line, and there's 3 of them, wherever you start from, you need to go to approximately the same place on the next telephone pole, and then that's going to come up like that. There's 3 of them. Okay, so let's review really quickly here. B means black, H means hard. That means that HB pencil is in the middle, and 2B is slightly blacker, 4B is slightly blacker, 6B is even blacker than that. And then of course we have H, 2H, and 4H. 4H is the hardest, which means it's the lightest line. 6H is my blackest, which means it's the blackest line. And you'll see I've used basically every pencil that I had. I've used them all here, I think. So you can get a lot of variation. You just have to go out and discover what each pencil will do and how it's going to get your lines on the page. On here you'll see I really paid attention to the rules of thirds this time. I have a bottom third where my road is, I have a middle third, and I have an upper third. My upper third is basically completely void of anything except for these telephone lines that are coming across here. I really paid attention to texture and light and shadow. I wanted to make this side of the barn shadowed as it is in reality. I wanted to make make the road gray, but only slightly gray. I wanted to make this look like it was coming down into the ditch. I think everything I wanted to accomplish in graphite I've accomplished on this particular drawing. So I hope you've learned something. If you've learned something, please give me a like. If you are currently a subscriber, I thank you very much. I really do appreciate every subscriber that I have. If you're not currently a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel so that I know people are out there watching what it is that I do. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you again next time.